Lionel Johnson has arrived to Dawn of War 4. The Primarch of the Dark Angels arrives on Kronus to assist the Bloodravens in their hour of need and will be a playable character towards the end of the campaign. This is just mind-blowing. The first time in history that we'll be able to play directly as a Primarch and unleash his power on the battlefield. Yes, I know, technically we could play as Guilliman in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, but you were actually controlling his flagship and he just shows up from time to time on a little box giving a speech, so you couldn't control him personally. So no, it's not the same thing at all. In Dawn of War 4, we'll be able to control the Lion like any other unit on the battlefield to purge Xenos left, right and centre. Obviously, being a Primarch, the Lion has to be an extremely powerful unit in the game, which is both great and unfortunate, since it seems that we'll only be able to get to use him in the final missions of the campaign, and he will not be available in skirmish mode or multiplayer mode. Which certainly makes sense because he might be too powerful and cause balancing issues. In any case, at least we'll be able to play as a Primarch in one or more missions and replay them as many times as necessary to get our fill of hunting the enemies of mankind with Lionel Johnson. Right, but what kind of special abilities will he have? Well, since it's a special unit, he's bound to have some cool stuff, right? Sadly, at the moment we have no idea, but I do think we can speculate a little. On the one hand, perhaps the Lion can teleport from one point of the map to another with his ability to walk through the Mirror of Caliban, since in the lore, he can literally enter the reflection of the Forest of Caliban to travel from one planet to another, as if he were using some kind of Eldar webway but without portals. This, I believe, could be very easy to implement and very useful in the game to move the Primarch quickly from one point to another. On the other hand, he may have some kind of special ability with the Emperor's shield. According to the lore, the shield is capable of reflecting attacks, so perhaps in-game he could have some kind of ability to reflect damage done to the Primarch for a period of time. Again, I believe this would make a lot of sense from a lore perspective and would also fit in well with the game mechanics. Finally, the Lion should have some kind of offensive ability, right? Perhaps a strong and precise attack to take down large enemies like the Beast Hunter that he is. A devastating blow with his sword on a specific unit to take away a good chunk of their health bar. Anyway, this is all pure speculation, but I think these three abilities would make sense both in lore and in the game. Also, let's not forget that in Dawn of War 4, all units have combat animations when they engage in melee combat. And kill syncs are back too, which means the Lion will have his own personal animations and kill syncs, and I for one can't wait to see him executing Xenos with the fury and efficiency of a Primarch. As you can tell, I'm pretty hyped for this. I was already hyped for Dawn of War 4, crossing my fingers it's not like the Dawn of War we don't speak about, but having a Primarch? That's just insane fan service. I wonder what GW is up to. Are they going to spike the prices up yet again and use this fan service as a smokescreen? Don't know, but certainly could be. Anyway, getting back on track, why is the Lion coming to help the Bloodravens? Well, we're not told that either. According to the lore, the Lion uses his ability to walk through the Forest of Caliban to get wherever he's needed, rushing in at the most desperate moments to turn the tide of battle and destroy the Emperor's most dangerous enemies. On the one hand, the Lion could simply be trying to save the Bloodravens from their doom and assist them in their battle for Cronis, which in itself is no small feat. Given the state of the Imperium, it's gonna need every Space Marine chapter it can spare. On the other hand, some people are already speculating that the Lion could be the true Primarch of the Bloodravens, and that's the reason he has come to save them from destruction. This explanation is certainly simple and direct, but personally I doubt it due to the high number of Psykers in the Bloodravens, something that doesn't really fit with the Dark Angels and Lionel Johnson. Others believe the Lion has arrived on Kronus to find more of the Fallen so he might redeem them and take them back into the fold as he reforges his legion anew as seen in Sons of the Forest. I for one am leaning more towards something else. Since the Lion has been acting like a knight-errant, taking out powerful threats to the world of the Imperium Nihilus, like he did when he purged some Tyranids and when he defeated Angron, maybe there's a specific threat that the Lion seeks to take out on Kronus. Now this is pure speculation too, but in the trailer there's a moment that got me thinking. The trailer mentions that something still stirs below, buried deep, lost for eons and never meant to return. Considering this is said with images of Necrons in the background, I'm betting it's a Catan shard that has been trapped beneath the surface of Kronus maybe for millions of years, and now the Necrons seek to awaken it and chain it to their will. And which Catan could we be talking about? Well, for one, it could definitely be a fragment of the Nightbringer as a nod to other Dawn of War games, since the canon ending of Dark Crusade was the victory of the Bloodravens under Davian Thule, and when they defeated the Necrons, they collapsed the Necron tomb, sealing the fragment of the Nightbringer under the surface of the Thuribis Plateau. Now this seems quite likely, it would certainly be the most predictable choice, and although seeing the Nightbringer again in a Dawn of War game with revamped graphics and engine would be incredible, in my opinion it would also be the most boring option. We already have the Nightbringer in other games, and now with the new narrative of the 500 Worlds of Ultramar, we're going to see him fight Titus as well, so putting him in Dawn of War 4 would be a little bit saturating, but still I think it's a strong possibility. For my part, I would prefer a different Catan for a bit of fresh air. A shard of the Void Dragon, for example, would be amazing. And hear me out, let's go full foil rack mode and put on our tinfoil hats for a second. This is the image shown in the trailer when it talks about something stirring beneath the surface, something lost for eons never meant to return. At first glance, this just looks like the typical Necron glyph, right? So not much to go on from there, right? Wrong. The only Catan to have the same symbol is the Void Dragon. Am I going mental, or is this some kind of hint? Does this mean we'll see the Void Dragon in Dawn of War 4, or have I gone completely crazy already? In any case, whichever Catan shard it ends up being, it makes more sense to me that the Lion went to Kronus to deal with a powerful enemy like a Catan shard, and is seeking to destroy it before the Necrons can unleash it across the galaxy. Moving on, now that we've covered the Lion and speculated a bit about his combat abilities and the reasons why he might have gone to Kronus, let's talk about the new info we got on the campaign. The game will have 4 campaigns: Orcs, Mechanicus, Necrons, and Space Marines. The new information tells us a little bit more about how the narrative events of the campaign will unfold. The campaign begins in orbit, when a Bloodraven's ship is attacked and boarded by the Orcs of Gorguts. Here we can already see Librarian Jonah Orion in action, and it seems like they are showing off his abilities. The first one seems to be an area attack, and the other one takes the form of an energy shield to protect units from enemy fire. Finally, the Orcs are victorious in orbit and force the Bloodravens to descend to the surface, where another Orc warlord awaits to give them a warm welcome. While the Bloodravens battle the Orcs on the surface, the forces of the Mechanicus, led by techno-archaeologist Potentia Delta 9, are inspecting the planet in search of lost knowledge. The Mechanicus venturing into a Necron tomb to decipher their secrets. Something that, as you well know, doesn't usually end well. Perhaps it will be Potentia Delta 9 herself who unwittingly awakens the Catan shard that I suspect lies beneath the surface. The Mechanicus unleashing inhuman horrors beyond our comprehension. What else is new? In turn, apart from the Necrons lying beneath the surface, a Necron fleet has come to invade the planet, led by Chronomancer Thotmec, awakening the sleeping tombs of Kronus with their arrival in search of secrets. Apparently, Potentia Delta 9 isn't the only one searching for the treasures that lie beneath the surface, and the fact that a Necron fleet has come to this world in search of something certainly reinforces my suspicions about a Catan shard. Although it could be something completely different, a lost ancient Necron weapon from the War in Heaven or something of the sort. Either way, if the Necrons get their hands on what they're looking for, it seems like it will be bad news for the Imperium. As events unfold on Kronus, the Bloodravens find themselves surrounded on all sides and on the brink of annihilation. When all seems lost, the Dark Angels answer their call. For first time in Dawn of War, during the Space Marine campaign, we'll be able to control not one, but 2 different chapters, the Bloodravens and the Dark Angels. During the campaign, we'll be able to choose to play missions with either the Bloodravens or the Dark Angels, which looks like it's going to give the campaign a replayability character so that we can play it again and again until we complete all the missions with one chapter or the other. The Dark Angels share much with the Bloodravens in terms of units, war gear, weaponry, and basic strategies. However, they come with their own unique aesthetics and history, as well as their own unique abilities fitting the Dark Angels' fighting style. In addition, both chapters will have different approaches to warfare. The Bloodravens, being reduced in number, will focus more on precision attacks, tactical strategies, and stealth, while the Dark Angels will deploy their full force on the battlefield in large scenarios with a more total war approach. In the new trailer, we got to see some units from the Dark Angels, such as Primarchs Intercessors and the Deathwing Terminators, but the ones that stand out are definitely the commanders in the game, Chaplain Ezreal on his assault bike and Master Asteran. Chaplain Ezreal seems to be a completely new character revealed in the game, who currently has no lore, at least none that I could find, but Company Master Asteran does have a little bit more lore, as apparently he appears in the 7th edition Dark Angels Codex. So Asteran was a pre-existing character, although from what I can find he didn't really have much lore to him either. With these new characters we can finally get an idea of the commanders that will be available in the game. At the moment it looks like there will be 9. Cyrus and Jonah Orion for the Blood Ravens, Potentia Delta 9 for the Mechanicus, the Chronomancer Thotmech for the Necrons, War Bosses Gorguts and Guzzcutter for the Orcs, and Master Asteran, Chaplain Ezreal and Lionel JONSON for the Dark Angels. And speaking of the devil, towards the end of the campaign, Lionel JONSON himself will make his appearance. Truly a historic moment for 40k fans, as it will be the first time ever we get to directly wield the power of a Primarch in a video game. Certainly these are good times for Dark Angel fans, and although personally I'm not a big fan of the Dark Angels, I got to admit I am dying to play with the Lion and purge all the enemies of mankind in his path. So what do you think? Are you hyped or not? Do you think the Lion has just come to save the Blood Ravens? Is he looking for more Fallen? Or, like me, do you think there's a hidden threat on Kronus that is dangerous enough to warrant a Primarch coming to deal with it? Either way, leave your opinions and theories in the comments. If you liked the video, you know the drill. Leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the next video.